Hello, all you people out there. Welcome back. This is the Story Forge. Today we are diving deep into the third book of Hailey Turner's incredible Soulbound series, A Crown of Iron and Silver. If you have been following my reviews, you know how much I love this urban fantasy romance series. It has everything you could want. High-stakes action, heavy mythology, a slow-burn romance that will make your heart ache, and a world so detailed you feel like you can step right into it. Book 3 completely raises the stakes, and let me tell you, it is just as delightfully bingeable as the first two. I read this one incredibly fast. Hailey Turner has this amazing talent for writing. Her world building and the way she shapes her sentences just pull you in, making it almost impossible to put the book down. Now, before we get into the details, a quick warning. A Crown of Iron and Silver is definitely not a book you can read as a standalone. The plot builds directly on the events of the first two books, A Fairy of Bones and Gold and All Souls Near and Nigh. If you try to jump in here, you are going to be very lost, because the world is so complex. So, do yourself a favor and start from Book 1. You won't regret it. Let's set the stage for what happens in this third installment. The story starts during the holidays in New York City. Special Agent Patrick Collins is looking forward to some time off and a long-awaited reunion with his old military team. But, of course, because Patrick is Patrick, things immediately go wrong. He gets assigned to a new, highly sensitive case. A human child has been stolen, and in her place, a changeling has been left behind. This causes a huge uproar, and a very prominent witch family demands immediate justice from the Fae. At the same time, Patrick's partner, Jono, Jonathan DeVere, is facing severe pressure from the local New York City God Pack. To protect themselves and those they care about, Jono is forced to formally establish his own pack. This is a massive deal. Doing this basically starts a civil war within the were-creature community, and they are facing a fight they might lose without the right allies. So, when a powerful Fey Lord shows up asking for help, Patrick and Jono realize they have a unique opportunity. The Summer Lady has been kidnapped from the Sealy Court. If Patrick and Jono can rescue her, they can secure a vital alliance with the Fae. The clues to her whereabouts lead straight into Tir na Nog, the Fae Otherworld. And as any urban fantasy fan knows, bargains with the Fae are never safe, and the Otherworld is incredibly hostile to mortals. To get answers, Patrick and Jono have to cross the veil. They risk losing their territory, their minds, and their very lives. To make matters worse, the Queen of Air and Darkness, the ruler of the Unseelie Court, is waiting for them, and she has an offer they cannot easily refuse. The transition into Celtic mythology and the world of the Fae is handled beautifully. It expands the universe in a way that feels organic and deeply rooted in classic folklore. At the absolute heart of this series is the relationship between Patrick and Jono. What makes their bond so wonderful to read is how Hailey Turner handles their emotional growth. She doesn't rush things. Both Patrick and Jono are men who grew up feeling lonely and isolated. But in this book, we see their relationship mature from a bond born out of survival into a deep, deliberate partnership. They trust each other's skills and decisions completely. It is so satisfying to see them grow closer and more comfortable with vulnerability. Their relationship is healthy, supportive, and filled with a passion that practically burns up the page. Alongside their romance, we get to see their pack grow. Jono is building something really special here. He isn't just taking in wolves, he accepts all kinds of were-creatures. This open acceptance is what truly brings their unique group together. Jono is fiercely protective, and honestly, he is like a giant, lovable werewolf puppy sometimes. The contrast between his lethal power and his sweet, supportive nature makes him such an amazing character. The found family vibe is incredibly strong in this book, and it gives the story a lot of heart. Now, I have to talk about one of my absolute favorite parts of this pack, Wade. I've said it before, and I will keep saying it. Wade is an absolute superstar. He continues to steal every single scene he is in. What I love most is how the dynamic around him has developed. As Patrick and Jono settle into their roles as leaders, they have become incredibly protective of Wade. Wade brings a great balance to the story. When the plot gets dark, dangerous, and heavy with magical politics, the relationships in the pack, and their collective protective instinct for Wade ground everything. The themes of loyalty and chosen family really shine through whenever Wade is involved. He is the heart of this group, and watching Patrick and Jono fiercely shield him and welcome him into their lives is just beautiful. For me, Wade's presence elevates the entire book, and I cannot wait to see how his role continues to grow in the future. Now, let's address something that some readers have pointed out as a potential issue. This series has a very large cast of characters. In addition to the main couple, the growing pack, and the Fey Lords, we also get introduced to Patrick's former military team in this installment. Some people might complain that keeping track of all these different factions, the gods, the Fey, the shifters, and the witches, is too difficult. I can see why some readers might feel overwhelmed, especially in the earlier books. But honestly, I thought the cast was handled incredibly well. By the time you get to book 3, the characters feel familiar, and their unique personalities make them easy to distinguish. The large scale of the fantasy actually makes the world feel alive and active. Hailey Turner doesn't just throw characters in for the sake of it. Each person serves a purpose in the political landscape of this universe. While your experience might vary depending on how much you enjoy epic urban fantasy, I found it highly engaging and easy to follow. However, the book isn't entirely perfect, and there is one major plot point that has sparked a lot of debate among fans. It involves Patrick's reunion with his old military team and the character Gerard. If you don't mind a few spoilers, we learn that Gerard has been keeping a massive secret. His true identity is actually Ku Chulin, an immortal god. He had been living under a false name, keeping his team completely in the dark. This revelation leads to a lot of tension. Patrick is furious about being lied to, but the narrative handles the fallout in a way that feels a bit unfair. The other characters frame Patrick as a hypocrite because Patrick also hid his past and his childhood trauma. But there is a huge difference here. Patrick changed his name legally as a child to escape horrific trauma. He eventually told his team when it became necessary for their safety. On the other hand, Gerard's lie was about his very nature as an immortal god. By hiding his identity, he made his team a target without their knowledge or consent, putting them in immense danger. Yet Gerard defends his lies and shows very little real contrition. He is sorry he got caught, but not necessarily sorry that he lied. The way the book forces Patrick to forgive Gerard feels a bit rushed and out of character. Other characters like Sage push Patrick to just get over it, which feels highly hypocritical, given her own reactions in the past. While this conflict adds a ton of dramatic tension and emotional depth, the resolution felt a little too neat and forced for a character as fiercely independent as Patrick. Still, it makes for a highly engaging debate and shows just how deeply invested we get in these characters. In terms of pacing, there is never a boring minute. Some readers might find that the middle section slows down slightly as the characters have to travel and gather information from different factions. but the action-packed climax and the emotional payoffs more than make up for any slower moments. If you are an audiobook listener, I highly recommend checking out the audio version of this book. Gary Furlong does the narration, and he is fantastic. He manages a massive ensemble cast entirely on his own, capturing the emotional tones, the tension, and the distinct voices perfectly. Overall, A Crown of Iron and Silver is a triumphant third installment. Hailey Turner has delivered a mythologically rich, action-packed, and emotionally deep urban fantasy that cements this series as one of the best the genre has to offer. Despite a few minor gripes about how the Gerard drama was resolved, I absolutely loved it. I give this book a highly enthusiastic thumbs up. I can't wait to see where Patrick, Jono, Wade, and the pack go next. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know in the comments, what did you think of the Fae world? And do you agree with me about Wade being a superstar? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review.